Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the Pipeline Podcast, episode 105. Hope everyone is having a great one. Joining me today for today's very special episode, I have the one, the only, the fabulous, the amazing founder of the Party Nation podcast. It's Lance. How's it going, Lance?
Hiya. How you doing?
It's good to have you here, man.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Oh, don't move my camera. Uh-oh. No, this is technically your first solo episode on the Pipeline.
I know, right?
We had you a little bit of a lore drop of those very early episodes. It wasn't even called the Pipeline yet. We did Arrowverse crossovers. We ranked the Arrowverse crossovers, which was one of the worst episodes, not because of you, but because my camera wasn't working, my audio wasn't working. I didn't know what the heck I was doing yet. I was like, well, he's never coming back. No, I was kidding. But no, we also did earlier in the year. We did a Flash episode, and you and a bunch of our Party Nation people kind of came on. But no, it's great to have you here. We have a very fun episode in store today. It'll be fun to kind of dive into everything. But how have you been, man? What's been going on?
Nothing much. Just work. Trying to plan the Party Nation stuff every week, and yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of where we met, I guess, right? I kind of was, I guess we met from Eric's stuff, Eric's streams.
Yeah, Eric's stuff, and
then you recruited me over to your thing. And actually, I mean, I will say, I think it's Party Nation that kind of inspired this show. I was doing that over years. I was like, I would like to get my own spin and do my own kind of thing over here as well. So yeah, you're definitely in the bloodlines of the Pipeline history and all that kind of jazz. But,
I'm still I will say though, your setups have always been infinitely better than mine.
I appreciate that, man.
Your thumbnails, I'm and it's not even that I can't do it. It's just I'm lazy when it comes to thumbnails. I'm lazy when it comes to content in general, because it seemed like just when I started getting my footing and putting out content. Yeah. My other job, my music stuff, seemed to come back and kick in a full gear and just take all my time. So yeah. It's always fun to be able to jump on other people's podcasts and jump. At least you do yours at a decent time, unlike a certain person that always says, "Oh, I'm gonna send a link and it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm in the bed." Oh.
Absolutely. Hello, Jose. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Hello, Cameron. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, obviously this episode is kind of the start of a series on the Pipeline I'm going to be doing. I'm doing a sort of MCU retrospective. Obviously, we're heading into Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars in a couple years now. A lot of these early MCU movies, I was very blank on. I was like, what even happened in some of those movies? So I did think it'd be fun. My kind of goal right now is once a month picking one MCU movie, going through them, or show. Now that Daredevil and stuff is canon, I thought it'd be fun to go through some of those too, and just talk about it.
I really want to rewatch the Netflix shows and just jog my memory, because I remember trying to literally binge watch those in a day, and they were so long.
Yeah, and now it's canon, so it's a whole nother experience with them, which is cool. And Daredevil Born Again's coming up in 6 months from now, so absolutely. But later on in today's stream, we're going to be talking about 2008's Ironman. So if you haven't seen Ironman, maybe this isn't the episode. Imagine someone crept on and was like, I've never seen it. Maybe someday.
That's crazy. If you haven't seen Ironman, I have several questions. How have you went this long? That's crazy. How have you went this long without seeing the movie that literally started it all?
Yeah. Cameron just throws out a question, and this wasn't one of our news stories, but I'm kind of glad someone brought it up. He asked about the Stephen Amell Peacemaker John Cena drama that's been going around on social media. Listen, I love Steven. I love his work. Obviously we both love Arrow. But he feels like he's always poking the bear. He's always just throwing out shade.
It wasn't about... I get that. I get, and it's like Todd said, he's not wrong when it comes to the stuff about the Arrowverse. But I'm like, you're not actually Green Arrow. You're not Oliver Queen. He wasn't talking about your iteration of the character. He was talking about the character in general. He wasn't targeting it towards you. Your show wasn't even on when Peacemaker was on. So, and secondly, why is that interviewer even bringing up Peacemaker right now?
He was very clearly trying to like stir the drama, and like I do remember there being some tweets around where like John Cena tweeted him and made some jokes about him, and like when I read those tweets, what was it, like 2022? I thought like, oh, that's clearly a joke. Like they're clearly having fun on social media. Apparently, Stephen Amell didn't take it that way. He took it personally. Clearly,
he takes everything personally.
Yeah, and again, like you're right. He's not wrong. Like when people think of DC, for the most part, they're thinking of like Grant Gustin's Flash and Steven's Arrow and Melissa's Supergirl, and it's also just very clear he wants back. Like he wants back in the DC world. Like he's every chance he gets of like, yeah, I'd come back. I'd play Green Arrow again. I'd play Blank again. It's just like, man, it's time to move on. I think it's time to give up the horse.
He's about to be the lead in a Suits spinoff. Just enjoy being a lawyer now. Like enjoy that. Like
yeah. That's a great gig. That's a show that can run many years. Like those are the type of shows. Those are, like 10-season type shows. So, and again, he's the perfect face for a show like Suits. Like he's just, like he looks like the rich bastard. Like he's just like that kind of character.
I think it's funny though. The original Suits had the Arrowverse's Ironman as one of the leads, and now the spinoff has Arrow.
Yeah. But obviously I like starting our shows. I like asking my guests what they're consuming lately. I like asking if there's any movies, any TV shows, any games that my guests have been playing. Is there any kind of media that you would just like to shout out?
I have been watching, thanks to Taj and 3Dubs, I have been watching like the Chicago One universe on NBC, made by Dick Wolf. I started out backwards by watching Chicago PD. I binged that the entire summer. So I watched that, and now I have started watching Chicago Fire. This is week 3 I'm on, and I'm already like in the middle of season 3. I'm hooked on that. Me and my wife are trying to plan a day that we can take the girls to see Transformers 1, and she also wants to see Beetlejuice. But the way my weekend schedule is set up, it's like conference last week, and I got another conference I got to play for this weekend. My schedule has just been nuts. It's also a few new, like everybody knows about the TV purge of 2024 to 2023. Everybody knows about that. So it's a couple. I lost a lot of good dramas that I watch. Mm-hmm. Like a huge, I did a whole video about it. Like I lost a lot of dramas, but it's a lot of new things that are like coming out. I started watching the NBC show Found, Jesse L. Martin's show The Irrational. I started watching that, and that is phenomenal because everybody knows Jesse L. Martin is like a wonderful actor. Like he's really good. Has that screen presence that you just can't get enough of. He's amazing in this show. It's a new show called High Potential that Javicia Leslie is a co-star on that I'm going to start watching. It's kind of like a flip. My wife said it kind of reminds her of Jesse L. Martin show with how this girl like just figures out crimes and whatnot. Reba I binge watched Reba again on Netflix. And she has a new show that's coming out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So yeah, it's a lot of new shows. Like Dr. Odyssey, a new medical drama that's about to drop. Rescue High Surf is like a Baywatch-esque 911-esque type show that's about to start. Like, guys, I don't just sit and watch like comic book shows. I love the world of television production. Yeah, all around. So yeah. It's a couple of things.
You seem to watch a lot of the like network television stuff, which is cool. I think that's great. I haven't watched any since Super and Lois has ended, and I kind of miss it. Like I miss the like as stupid as it sounds, just like the like commercial break of it all, just being like, oh, it starts at 8, and I sit down at 8, and then there's a bunch of commercials, and that's over. Like I do really enjoy that. There's just not a lot for me right now on network TV, but But no, I mean, you're right about TV coming back. Like it's been a dry like month and a half. But like Only Murders just came back. That show is great. I've been really enjoying that.
Bro,
Obviously,
you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me.
Uh-oh.
I tried to get into Only Murders. I tried. I think it's the same way with how you tried to do the Daryl Dixon show. I think I just gotta sit with it a little bit more. But I could not get in. Like I watched like the first 2 episodes, but it's like it's just like when a show like locks you in.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't pay. I was not paying attention. I don't know why. I mean,
it's
up? Like,
I mean, I think if you're not liking it from the start, might not be a you kind of show, because I do think it's just like a consistently good through and through show. But I mean, I think it's definitely a show that you're going to either be like, hey, I'm really into this, or hey, I'm really not. It's just a vibe thing, I think. I just like respect a streaming show for consistently putting out television. Like it's so hard to find that nowadays, where it's like,
yeah,
it came out 2020, and now 2024 we have 4 seasons. It's about to get a 5th. Like it's like they put that show out. It's great. But in terms of what I've been watching, again, we were talking about this a little in the before. I've been trying to get caught up with The Walking Dead for Daryl Dixon season 2 that's about to drop. All this year, basically, I've been trying to get caught up with that universe. I'm 14 seasons into whatever the heck this whole thing is. And you said you dropped that show, right? Or like that franchise?
I dropped The Walking Dead after Rick died. Died, quote unquote. After Andrew Lincoln left the show, I hung in there when they because I was reading the books concurrently. Like,
oh sure,
you can literally see them. Like I was reading the books concurrently, so we were reading the books and like watching the show. So we're like, oh, where's the differences?
Yeah.
What character is taking this character's place? But once they killed Carl. That's when I knew, okay, this is going off the rails a little bit. I don't know if I like this, but I tried to stick around, and then I think what was the character's name? Sadiq, I think. I don't remember his name.
That sounds right, yeah.
But when his episode, and then The Walking Dead makes it so obvious when a character is gonna die, you just get so much attention. The whole episode is about you.
Yeah.
That's how you know when they're about to die. When they killed him off.
Yeah.
That was the last episode of The Walking Dead that I watched. His episode when he died. Like I remember
that made me mad.
I was sitting in my living room when I was living in Indianapolis. I was like, and then the episode went off. I turned it off, and my wife literally watched me say, like, when I deleted the episode from the DVR, it said, "Can I? It said, can I? Like, do I want to like just delete this episode, or just like cancel it all together?" And I went down to Ken. She said, "Whoa." I said, "Yeah." It's not the same no more.
Yeah.
Like they killed off all the characters that you started with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I kind of knew that going into the show. Like I kind of knew, okay, by the end, all my characters will be dead, and I kind of just like accepted those consequences. And I knew basically who everyone was going to die going in. So I was like, well, all right. I just kind of want to like the reason I started it was I was like, I feel like that's the only thing kind of similar to the Arrowverse at the moment in terms of like a sci-fi universe has had multiple shows on at one time. So it's like, all right, I'll dive into it. And I do think overall it's worth it. Like I think the lows of Walking Dead is much higher than the lows of like the like CW stuff. Like I don't think there's anything like Arrow season 4 or Flash season 7 or anything like that. But
Rick's show is a show you need to watch.
That's my next one up. I'm very excited.
Rick's show is the best spinoff. They do so. I'm not gonna spoil it. They do so much stuff from the book. Like they did something from back when they were dealing with the governor.
Yeah.
Like from like season 2 that they were supposed to do in season 2. Something that they teased so much. They finally did it. When they did it in the first episode, I said, "Yeah, you got me. You got me. I'm locked in. You got me." Like, bro, you will love Rick's show. It is like it's the best written show. And then just having Rick and Michonne, their chemistry back, it feels like The Walking Dead again.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about Maggie and Negan. Maggie and Negan's show didn't lock me. I don't care about Daryl and Carol. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just I don't I should, because they were some of my favorite characters on the
Mhm.
actual show. But maybe it's because they weren't the focus. Like they got some story, but
Mhm.
not too much. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. 3Dubs is also here. Hello, 3Dubs. How's it going? Taj is here. I don't know if I can read this this comment, Taj, but thank you for commenting. I'm just gonna leave that, leave it at that.
Taj knows I'm his cousin. I don't know why he keeps fighting it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're gonna be jumping into a couple of news stories here. We have a couple here I want to talk about.
Sweet.
There was less than normal because I did just stream our episode on Thursday. Obviously, we're streaming this on Monday. It's a bit weird. It's a bit different than what we normally do, but we're moving with it. And I know that you're gonna be talking about this over on your show tomorrow.
So is my show like a crossover tomorrow? Like
a little bit, yeah.
Interconnected.
I feel like I feel like now I'm obligated to hop on your show tomorrow because I'm like, well, he showed up on mine. I gotta hop on it. But yeah, I saw this on your title for Party Nation tomorrow, so we don't have to talk about this too much. Constantine 2 has locked down a script and director Francis Lawrence. Constantine 2, man, everyone's most anticipated DC movie. Everyone can't wait for this Constantine 2. Have you seen the first one?
A little bit of it, yeah. It never. I'm sorry, Keanu is just not Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Constantine to me. I don't know why. He's just not. And then the Keanu that we know we're gonna get, like Keanu's not gonna cut his hair. He's not gonna shave the beard. Like the Keanu I know is Matt Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Not Keanu. That's Constantine. That's Constantine to me. But I'm surprised that this is actually, still happening. I'm surprised James Gunn does like obscure characters. I'm sure this is one of the offshoots of the DCU. Like this is one of those Elseworlds projects. But hey, I'll give it I'll judge it I won't even judge it fully from the first trailer. I'll watch the first couple trailers, see if I like it, and then go like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first one, so I can't speak on if I like him as Constantine or not. I should. I've been putting it off for so many years, but I don't, just by what I've seen, like it doesn't look like Constantine to me. I don't get the Constantine vibe, but I love it for Keanu. Like he clearly loves that character. He manifested that into existence, being like, I'd like to come back as Constantine. And I think this is kind of what Elseworlds for, is that you can do these offshoot stories and they can be over there and that's fine. Like he can stay in his own little bubble and then the DCU can have their own Constantine. I've said it for ages. I'd love if they brought back Matt Ryan for the DCU. It's not going to happen, but I'd love if they could just be like, he's like our Kevin Conroy of Constantine. He's the one kind of thing.
He's just like whenever I read a comic, I only hear Matt Ryan. Like he is Constantine. He's also now Gwen Davies, but he is Constantine.
Yeah. Cameron, that's what we've heard, but we haven't really seen any updates or anything. So it's DC's weird where they'll have things in development for years on years on years, and it's just like, oh, this is still a thing? Okay. I assume they're kind of with Constantine and this project and whatever other Elseworld they have in the works. I assume they're just kind of waiting to get the DCU off the ground, and then they can start greenlighting some of these other projects Elseworld. Like there's a lot of talk with like the Batman Beyond movie and why that didn't happen. But I think with that one, they're just being like, okay, let's get our universe set first, and then later on we can repitch this. We can try that again. Taj, what am I drinking? I got some green tea. A little Batman mug. I don't know if you guys can see, but green tea. But I hope this gets made. I wish the best of luck to Keanu Reeves and whoever the heck they get to make this movie. All right, up next. This came out today, and I don't want to take this one too seriously, but a live action Ben 10 project has seemingly been canceled. Okay, so this, and I didn't look too much into this until after I made this graphic here. But this was the live action Ben 10 project that was greenlit all the way back in 2011. They greenlit this around the time Omniverse ended its original run.
That's a year after I graduated high school.
So it's really
I didn't
funny
know anything about this.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't, and the more I did my research, oh yeah, I do remember something like that being said. But I feel like anyone could have told you this movie wasn't coming out at this point. Like there was, I don't know, like no one even knew this was happening, and obviously there was a lot of rumors going around about like another live action Ben 10 project. I mean, first of all, are you a fan of like the Ben 10 franchise at all? Like, is that a show that you would watch?
What did you think? What do you think I did during the pandemic?
I have to ask these questions. I gotta set you up.
I kid you not. I watched every single Ben 10 series during the pandemic. Every single one from start to finish. Like literally. I was
amazing.
My wife is witness. She come home. I'm still watching Ben 10. She's like, okay, can we turn to something else? No, I have to finish this because I haven't seen all of these in a long time. I watched every single one. I love Ben 10.
It's great. Yeah, the fans are starved. The fans are. The fans have not had a great.
I even watched the live action films again. I
mean, I loved those movies growing up. When I was a kid, I adored those movies.
Bro, when the first one came out, I thought those graphics were. I thought that was the best thing that ever hit TV.
Oh yeah, especially in the first one, man. Those graphics are rough.
Yeah. I was so bad. I said, "Why we ain't seeing all the aliens?" What?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, I'm very mixed on this because obviously, any new announcement for Ben 10 would have been cool. Like, it would be cool to get another project from them. I don't really like live action Ben 10 though, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think the best medium for Ben 10 is animation. I just plain and simple. I don't know.
I think it could be really good now, seeing how far like technology has come. I think they could do something really special now.
Yeah. My only worry with a movie is I think it would be very, especially if we're talking origin story. Like if this is like a new continuity, they're setting things up for the first time. A movie's hard for Ben 10 because there's a lot you have to do. There's a lot of lore there, a lot of aliens. When you do a movie about Ben 10, if it's the first time you're seeing this character, you have to show all 10 aliens. And that's tough to do in like an hour and a half to 2 hours. You add the troubles to live action to that with, very high budget. Like it'd have to be a very high budget. So, obviously this is sad, but I'll separate, the negativity of that to like hopefully this makes way for a better project down the line. They recently announced they're doing a run of comics with Ben 10, which is I think a step in the right direction for Ben 10 fans. Like at least we're getting something from the character because we really haven't had anything since the reboot ended in 2022. It's been a couple years. I think it's 2021. So hopefully something's announced soon. I do think something will be announced. It's just an IP that's sitting there at the moment. Like nothing's happening with it. And I think Warner Brothers knows it's a big IP. I think they know people love it. It trends on Twitter almost like every day. Like the fan base is still very active.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get something soon. All right. Next here we have a series of photos for the upcoming 4th and final season of Superman and Lois. Which, by the way, I talked about this with 3 Dubs the other day. We talked a little bit some Superman and Lois season 4 stuff. Very excited for the final season. Very exciting.
I thought 3 Dubs hated the fact that it was the final season and he's not excited anymore because it's ended.
He said he hates Superman, actually, which was I couldn't believe he said that. It was crazy.
Who can hate Superman? He's super and he's man. Jesus.
He also said he hated Smallville, which is I couldn't believe that was coming out of his mouth. I know, it's crazy. That's a shock. He's a Smallville fan. He has Smallville footy pajamas. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, of course he does. All right, so a lot of these we don't have too much to say about, but I did just kind of want to just go over them and talk about them a little bit. So obviously we have this first one, Lois and Clark. Looks like a Daily Planet setup. At first I was like, oh, Clark's back already? And it's like, oh no, this is clearly a Daily Planet. So I mean, do we think we're getting a whole flashback episode, or do you think it's just going to be portions of an episode?
Portions of an episode.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Actually, I would like portions of it in a couple episodes because like some of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be at least like the first. Well, since the first 2 are technically like one episode now, I think it's going to be like the whole first episode is gonna be like part flashback.
Yeah. I'm having a heart attack right now because I can't correct this false information.
If you can't correct it, that means it's not false.
Yes, Chainsaw, the pipeline's gone woke, unfortunately.
Wow.
It's it is what it is.
Actually, that must be Jake hacking his
Oh, yeah, totally.
That has to be Jake.
All right, we have this shot of Jonathan, Sarah, Lana, Lois, and Jordan just like in the living room. Just shout out that we got all the cast back. Like, we've known that for a while, but it's good to know that everyone's at least back for a portion of the season.
Those can't be real Nikes. Those can't be real. I'm sorry. The swoosh is humongous.
I also almost didn't recognize Sarah with those bangs. I
was like what? How, like, you didn't have the bangs the day. It's the same day. So you get bangs, bro.
I mean, maybe it's a small time jump here. Like maybe because I mean, if you are doing true Death of Superman, like if Superman actually does die, I feel like there's going to be a time jump. I feel like there has to be, just to make it feel real.
It is real.
Jordan's got it going on.
I've never seen those before, but all right.
How are they? I mean, this is like a TV question in general. How are they paying for all this?
I don't know.
Because Lois is the only one that has a proper job at this point, right?
Yeah.
And Clark's gone anyway, so like, Clark has to be robbing banks at this point.
How did they pay for her treatments? Like, how were they paying for the insurance?
I mean, I guess they were both like Daily Planet reporters at one point, so maybe they saved up a lot. But I guess a reporter's salary can't be that big. Like, I can't imagine they're paying them that much.
Yeah, it can't be that big. Like,
but I guess
I've always.
That's
like always been the question. Though, like, we asked it on Flash. Like, how are you?
Oh yeah.
How are you like paying for anything?
I mean, I guess if you're the number one reporter in the world, maybe you're getting paid a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they own property. They own a farm. Farms are expensive. Again, a lot of these don't give us too much. Just, I'm happy he's back. I would have been very upset if he didn't make some kind of return this season. So
hey, I got a question. Happy. What happened to his traumatic brain trauma from season 2? He's like non-existent anymore. Yeah. Every episode he came back in season 2, we're just like, oh my god, he hit his head. Like they would focus on that he hit his head, but now it's like, oh, he's fine.
He's good.
Yeah,
no big deal.
It went away.
Yeah, season 2 especially, or 3 with him especially. Like we talked about it over in Party Nation a lot, but like they really kind of dropped the ball with him last season. And it was very clear Diggle was supposed to be there. It's very clear it was just a whole storyline that was just cut out from his. But I hope they give him a good ending. I hope they finally give him that cape that we've been asking for and that symbol we've been asking for. So
I mean, we've seen the set photo, so
we've seen something. Oh boy, everyone's favorite characters, Kyle and Chrissy, which we did recently learn they're getting a whole solo episode. I think episode 4 is their solo episode. Which we were talking about you on this last week's pipeline. We were like, I might have to skip this week's or that week's Party Nation because we know you're just gonna do nonstop the Kyle accent. It's gonna be an hour of the Kyle accent.
I just got a feeling that episode is gonna be like the episode the Allegra and Cecile episode of Flash. Like I think that's gonna be the one episode of Superman and Lois that I just trash. Like that review is gonna be terrible. Like,
okay, this is writers. This is your chance to prove yourself.
Hey,
like, this is your chance to prove that you are the best. The best CW show. Because if you can make an episode with just Kyle and just Chrissy, great. If you can make that a great episode, then you're a great show. Like and like again, this is the trope CW does a lot. They do that. Arrow did episodes like this. Flash did episodes like this. Legends did, Supergirl did episodes like this where you just have a side character solo episode.
Why in the final season? Why in the
I think
final
budget.
season? I don't give a flying for the doodle. Give it to. I'd rather watch Jordan and Sarah.
Yeah.
Than watch Kyle and Chrissy. How's the baby, Chrissy? How's the baby? How's my
or John Henry?
Mija?
Yeah. I gotta see what they do with it. It's. We'll see. We'll see. And this final photo here, when I did this. Oh, sorry, not the last photo. We have this Sam looking very dapper in his suits. Also, shout out for not killing him in a hole. I was very afraid that when they said he wasn't coming back, I was like, oh gosh, don't kill him, please, 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 don't kill Sam. And he's alive. He's well. He's back. I'm glad he's at least okay.
dating that evil woman.
He was just trying to bone it down, and he got tied up in a hole somewhere. Cameron says, "I love Superman Lois, but if season 4 turns into I think it'd be very hard for them to. That'll
never happen.
Those are incredibly low lows.
They still have their normal cast of characters that we like, except for Cal and Chris.
They would have to literally just jump, just shit the bed. They would have to just absolutely go left turn and just completely jump the shark. Okay, this is the one I really wanted to talk about. This. I don't obviously this is a flashback scene, so obviously this is set in whenever they're still working at the Daily Planet, probably 10 years prior or whatever it is.
It's the outfit and the hair together. Like, when you think about Lex, yes, we know Lex has a head full of red hair. we know. Yeah. But you look at John Cryer, Titus Welliver, Michael Rosenbaum, Clancy Brown's Lex Luthor, even Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. They wear suits. Their beards are finely kept, like when they have it. I don't know how to describe this, but the fact that this is his actual hair. This is not a wig. They styled his hair like this. Like they did the David Corn sweat. Like they said, grow your hair back and we'll cut it again. Like, It's making me joke. It's just so he looks like he's like a biker who just got a blowout. Like said, do what you want. Like if I don't know how Lois is standing there with a straight face. Like it's and then the skinny jeans kill me too. Like Lex, this Lex cannot. You go into prison and you took over the whole prison. Show them a picture of what you dress like. You would not have that respect. You would not have that respect.
It definitely does feel like he's not fully Lex Luthor until now. It feels like the Lex Luthor we're used to, he doesn't become until now. Like, we're kind of getting the origins of Lex Luthor in a different way now. I'm just curious what led him to this decision, because it's definitely a choice. It's definitely a choice. Cameron asked, I wonder if James Gunn is going to reference that Jimmy Olsen and Lex Luthor and is a distant cousin. Oh, and for the DCU? I mean, maybe. Awesome. At first I was like, wait, why would James Gunn talk about Superman and Lois? I was like, oh yeah, the Superman movie. But no, I mean, I'm excited to see. I mean, he kind of gets thrown into the CW Arrowverse category of bad hairdos that the CW likes to have. All the CW shows, if it's Oliver and Arrow or Damien Dark has had some weird wigs, and I don't know.
Very emo wig.
Oh gosh, there's some bad ones. I have thought about doing an episode of this show just ranking the bad wigs in the Arrowverse. I think that'd be a really funny episode. Just doing a tier list of the bad wigs. And yeah, we have kind of one final story here I do want to talk. Not story, just kind of talking point I did want to jump into before we jump into the Iron Man thing. Agatha All Along and the Penguin come out this week. Both Agatha comes out on Wednesday with their 2-episode premiere, and the Penguin premieres on Thursday. And with that, I kind of just wanted to do like a general, are we excited for these 2 shows? Any predictions, any kind of things for it? Starting with Agatha, are you planning on watching that?
I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. No, like seriously though, like I really am excited for Agatha All Along. Hopefully we get some answers to like the spell. They can, we know it's part of this trilogy that they just sprung up with that they never told us about before. Yeah, good one, Kevin Feige. Say it's a trilogy. Good one. We know it's a part of this trilogy that they're trying to, start, and it's going to be finished with a Division Quest or whatever the name of his show is going to be. So it's going to be nice to step back into the world and step back into this world, I should say, of like the witches of the MCU, the magical side of the spooky side of the MCU. This is some of the best stuff that they've done, especially after seeing what they've done with Wanda. I can't wait to see what they do with Agatha and her coven. So yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I think my main excitement is just that we have another live Marvel show again. Like, for people like us that like do these podcasts and make content, it's not like these MCU TV shows are always nice just to have an MCU show to talk about. Like that's just always fun. Last one we had was Loki season 2, which was the last weekly MCU show, which is crazy. It's 9 episodes, so it's a lot to talk about. I know, yeah, it's been a whole year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we had Echo in January, but that was like a binge show. That all came out
January?
It was January, yeah. Echo was January. Jesus. And then X-Men 97 was in the spring, but that's not technically MCU. It's great. I love 97. I thought it was amazing. But no, I mean, this show has got a lot of hate. Like, even when it was originally announced, people were like, why is this happening? Why are we getting this? And I was always under the thing where, like, I just want to see what they do with it. Like, people ask for different kinds of MCU content. This is different. This is unique. This is something they've never done before. So, yeah, I just, let them cook, I guess, and see if it's good.
I love Catherine Hahn, so I'm ready to
great.
see what she does.
Absolutely. And then the Penguin, which is obviously the next, I guess, title in the Batman saga.
The good old story of Oz Cobb, as they decided to rename him.
Yeah, which is sillier than Cobblepot, I feel.
Last name is Cobb. First name is just Oz. What was your mom thinking, dude? Like, Jesus.
Could have done like Oswald Cobb. Like that would have at least done better.
Oz.
Oz sounds very weird. Yeah.
Like that's on your birth certificate, Oz.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm excited about the Penguin as well. I'm hearing really good reviews about it.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves is like a film genius, so I trust him. The trailers look great. Colin Farrell seems amazing as always in this role. Unrecognizable. Doesn't seem like a budget drop. The prosthetics and everything is like still in place. I'm excited for this as well. It's gonna be weird having to do these reviews back to back, but I'm excited. I'm ready to get back to doing reviews of TV shows again. So yeah. This is gonna be a good start for me.
Yeah, no, it's just fun to have kind of a Marvel and DC show start at the same time, pretty much end at the same time. Like it's fun. We can enjoy both fandoms at the same time. Like I wouldn't say my excitement for the Penguin is as high as some of these other shows, because typically it wouldn't be the type of show I'll be watching. But those reviews that we've heard from it, like what people are saying about the show already, seem incredibly positive, incredibly fun.
Yeah.
It's Matt Reeves. He's gonna cook. Like I don't know. Like he did the Apes movies, which are perfect, and he did the Batman, which is a fantastic movie. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what they do with the future of the Batman saga, if you will. Cameron said Disney Plus is doing channel for Marvel in Star Wars. Yeah, I did. We we had that news a while ago, right? Where they were doing these like individual, I don't know, streaming channels where you just like you can watch it like live TV, which pretty exciting.
Oh,
Did
sweet.
something new come out about that, or are you just reminding us from last time, or whenever that was announced? Oh well.
I think I missed that, honestly.
Yeah, they had announced that they're going to have these individual kind of live channels within Disney Plus. It's basically just like cable, but like within the Disney Plus app, which is cool, I guess. But obviously, there's the complaint with people who are like, "Well, it's just cable again." I'm like, I don't know. I guess I just don't hate that idea. I don't mind that they're kind of going back to that cable stuff, and back to the cable prices too. But with that being said, we are going to be jumping into kind of our main topic here, which is Ironman 2008. You watched this a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes,
you
I
rewatched
did.
the movie?
Yes, I did. I watched the entire trilogy, actually.
Ooh, fun. And I rewatched it this morning, so it's very fresh in my mind. So I rewatched it. Did you see this one in theaters? Like, did you see this when it like first came out?
This was before I got like back heavy into comics.
Gotcha.
Yeah. My first Marvel film in theaters was Avengers.
Better than me. My first was Infinity War. I was really late. I didn't get into Marvel really until Infinity War. Which, I mean, if you want me to make you feel old, I was 6 when Iron Man came out.
Wow, I am old though, so that's crazy. But no, I saw this when my mom was working. She always had a guy at her job that was like the bootleg man or whatever. So I saw the bootleg copy of Iron Man that had people walking through the screen. That's how I experienced Iron Man.
That's amazing. Yeah, I remember. Man, I'm trying to think what my first Marvel movie I think was. I mean, in general, it's that like hero, the like next generation movie with all the kids. Yeah, that was my first proper one.
I'm literally looking at that DVD right now. Like, it's in my DVD case.
Yeah, I do think Guardians may have been my first official one. I think I watched the first Guardians movie. But I mean, when I was younger, Iron Man was such a rage when that first came out, and like the years following, I remember when trying to get into like the superhero space and trying to get into some of this stuff, Iron Man was just the name everyone kept talking about. Like I would have cousins that would say, if you want to get into the MCU or Marvel or DC or whatever, they were like, start with Iron Man. Iron Man's a great one to start with. And obviously it's iconic in that, people love, Downey as Iron Man. People love Iron Man character. It's also what branched off the entire MCU though. It's what started everything. So what's your overall opinion on the Iron Man movie? And then we can kind of go into some of the other stuff within it. But like, what's your just like general thoughts on it?
Upon my rewatch, I thought Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow and why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Don Cheadle.
No, not Don Cheadle. Not Terrence Howard either. Happy. Why am I drawing a name on?
Oh, Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? I thought that they have amazing chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I loved seeing that trio on screen. Just seeing how the movie starts out and how he's really just trying to he's in the convoy, like basically the origin, like he's in the convoy. And he's trying to act like all serious, but he's really just joking around with the soldiers. Robert Downey, it felt like he was just being himself. Like that's how much he put of himself, because this was really his comeback. So he put so much of himself into Iron Man. It didn't feel like you were watching somebody act. But then when you get to the initial explosion, and then I thought that his acting in that scene alone was phenomenal. Just hearing how crazy, like back then, like the MCU, like we thought some of the stuff they do now is crazy, but this was more along the side along the side of like grounded to me. Like this felt really, really grounded. And me coming from me not being a huge Iron Man fan back in the day, and like from loving like I got an Iron Man because of Robert Downey Jr. That was my real full introduction to the character. So Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal, like and watching it all these years later after, because the only reason I really went back to watch it is because we got the announcement about Doomsday. So I'm like, okay, you know, I need to see some Robert Downey Jr. I need to. So I'm like, okay, let me turn on the Iron Man, and then I get to that scene of where he's first injured, and you know, the doctor guy is trying to help him, and he's like, like what's going on? I'm like, dude, if people don't understand why they brought him back, go back and watch Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Go back and watch the movie that he put his soul into of this MCU, and he did a phenomenal job. Like, I was literally like just sitting there, and I'm like, dude, like, people are really mad that we're getting this back. Yeah. This is what got us to where we are. Like, bro, like I will always love this movie. If I'm giving it a rating, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 just because, you know, that's just me. You just froze.
Uh-oh. Hello?
Oh, you're back.
I'm back. You froze, and then it kicked me out. I was like, well, it's his stream now.
You froze.
My bad.
You froze for like 10 seconds. I'm like, wait, what? Like, why did you stop?
Nope, I was gone. I was gone.
I'm like, what just happened?
But no, I mean, in terms of like, that's definitely, it's definitely very interesting rewatching this movie post obviously the entire journey of Iron Man, and now, you know, Robert Downey coming back into the role. And like or hate the news about Doom, you know, I have things I don't like about it, but like or hate it, his performance in that movie is going to be great. Like there's no lying. Even if he shouldn't be Doom, he's going to kill that character. Like he's going to do a good job. His performance as a villain is going to be very, very good. But no, there's so many things which is kind of like looking at the start of the journey as Iron Man. There's so many lines of dialogue that they fully just like bring full circle. Obviously, there's like there's like the cheeseburger line, which is hilarious, and Endgame, where it's like, you know, your dad loved cheeseburgers too. Like that's really funny. But there's that line when he's in the cave, and they're like, hey, do you have a family? Do you have someone that loves you? And it's like, well, no, I don't. And I feel like that's such a cool kind of moment looking at like, well, he found his family. You know, he found the Avengers. He found obviously Pepper, and he has his daughter, and he found his family. And I think that's such a sweet kind of full circle moment that I'll see as I kind of start to rewatch some of these movies, like his journey. And like, there's a reason people say that Tony's journey from the first movie to the last movie is one of the best arcs in the MCU. Like it, you know, most of it is done in this movie. Like is from this movie to the end is in this movie, but it's an incredible journey that he kind of goes on and he travels through, and it's incredible to watch. And kind of piggyback on what you were saying about Downey, like even when you're not supposed to necessarily like Tony in this movie, like he starts off, he's a douche, he's kind of an asshole, but you can't help but love him. Like he kills.
He draws you in, like.
Oh yeah, seconds into the movie, he's like, "Do you want to take a picture?" He's like, "Yeah, why is everyone so serious?" Like he's goofing off, he's playing around, and instantly you love him. You love him immediately, and I think the MCU has always actually done a pretty good job at its characters. Like I feel like there's not really many main characters in the MCU I can say I don't love. Like I think they always do a pretty good job at making you fall in love with them pretty easily. Like, you know, you can have your issues with Thor in the MCU, but I feel like we always loved Thor. Like I feel like he always had a fun personality. Same with Cap, same with Clint, same with whoever you're introducing throughout the run of everything. But okay, let's talk about the Terrence Howard of it all. Let's talk about the Terrence Howard, because obviously that's one of the big things when you look back.
Next time, baby.
Next time, baby.
There was no next time.
That's so funny. Like that's obviously one of the most I don't know if it's either one of the things that aged the best or the worst depending how you look at it. Were you a fan of Terrence Howard as Rhodey? Did you wish he would have stuck around, or are you happy that we got Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle fits it better for me.
Yeah.
He fits it way better. And and I'd hate to say that, but like don't get me wrong, I love Terrence Howard as an actor. I love things that he has done. And he did a great job as as James Rhodes. But I can't see Terrence Howard in like the War Machine armor. I just can't. Yeah. Terrence doesn't give me soldier. He doesn't give me militant. Don Cheadle does. I also can't see Terrence Howard, making it all the way to Endgame and doing the why don't we just go back in time and
yeah.
I can't see him doing that. So
it would be very fun to see an alternate universe where he is that character, and just getting to see what it would look like with him in the giant suit, and him as the right-hand man, and the guy that's supposed to get his own movie and all these crazy things. And but I mean, also just like seeing Rhodey's journey through the MCU is also just incredibly funny. Obviously, like the major recast, and he becomes one of the main members in Endgame, and he's supposed to be getting his own movie. I don't know if that's still happening, but he had his whole thing in Secret Invasion and all that kind of stuff. Like he's probably, he'd be the longest running MCU character at this point. Because Coulson's not really active anymore. Neither is I guess Happy. I guess Happy and actually Happy's probably in more movies than War Machine is at this point.
Happy pops up everywhere, so
yeah. What if Terrence Howard comes back in Secret Wars? That would be very funny. That'd be very hilarious. Funny. I'd like that. Same with Hulk. Same with what's his name? I forget his name, but the guy in the first Hulk movie.
Why am I drawing a blank? I almost said Eric Bana. Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. It's actually kind of crazy. Within the first two movies, there's three major recasts that we end up getting. We have obviously Rhodey, Ross, and Hulk. Like all three of those were recast, which is crazy. But yeah, no, I mean, I'd be down to see if him come back, just like a nice little cameo. Just put him in the War Machine suits, let it ride. We have Ironmonger is the villain of this movie, and obviously there's you know what?
He's menacing throughout the entire movie.
He is.
Like you just feel like the villainous energy coming off of him, even when he's not trying to be villainous.
Yeah, he's very, like, I'd say, and this isn't a bad thing, but he's very two-dimensional in terms of like his villainness. He's like, I want money and I'll do anything it takes to get it. But also he's so much fun to watch. Like, obviously, there's the iconicness of, like, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Like, obviously, there's that. But, like, we're still quoting that to this day. Like, we're still talking about that scene. And, like, there may not be a lot of depth there in terms of, like, a villain. And we definitely get better villains later on. But there is something really fun about that villain. It's very tropey. It's like the evil uncle role that wants all the money kind of thing. But, no, I really enjoyed him in this one.
My thing is, it's like Obadiah, like you accepted that award on behalf of Tony. Like that's when everybody should have known, like, you ain't shit. Like like you're an asshole. Like you wanted to accept that award. You wanted to, like you wanted to be where Tony is. And you can't because the company wasn't left to you. Like when he pulled out Tony's arc reactor and just left him there to die, I was like, oh, I knew you were bad, but like you wanted him. Like, and then you're gonna sit there and look at him. So I was like, I am sorry. No, you're not. I hate when villains say I'm sorry after they, leave you to die. You're not sorry.
No.
If you were, you wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, but no, he's fun. Like it kind of started the trope of like the first movie of the MCU has to be like a direct like replica of their powers and stuff like that. But I do feel like this one, it very much works. It does very much kind of fit the mode. I think you kind of mentioned this early on, but I do think like it is a very grounded film, and I think that's one of the most refreshing things about it, especially seeing, later in the MCU, everything's this kind of world-ending threats. It's always kind of the end of the world. The multiverse is in danger, and like the threat in this one is just kind of like, well, I guess there is big threats globally. There's like a global threat at the end of the day. But it is really about like a company, right? It's kind of like Succession in like a weird way, just like who owns the company, who gets each other's money, But no, like I just enjoy how simple of a movie it is and how kind of straightforward it is.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like
no multiverse, no world-ending threats. Just like I said, it's street level to me, and I love that. Like that's one of the things that I noticed on my rewatch. This is really, really street level. A lot of you may say, "Oh, but Iron Man's not a street level." He's not a street level hero, but at the same time, he is in this because he's just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
So like that first suit up scene, bro. Like,
oh, it's so good. It's really good. Yeah, and I miss. Like, I feel like MCU doesn't have a lot of sequences like that nowadays, where just someone kind of suiting up. Like, there's a lot of talk within the fan base of like everything's nanotech and blah blah blah. And I don't always hate the nanotech, but it is nice sometimes to see an actual like suit up sequence. Really
definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about Pepper Potts yet. Obviously, there's a lot of controversies with.
I liked her in this movie. I feel as if she did what she was supposed to do. She was worried about Tony. She was also worried about the company. Tony wasn't trying to be serious about her back then. He fumbled the bag. he dropped the bag. That's on him.
Yeah.
She did what she had to do.
No, I think she's really good. I don't know. Like, I know she gets some hate later on, but like separating the actors from the character, I really enjoy Pepper Potts in the MCU. Like, I think her and Tony's dynamic is really fun, and especially refreshing now. There's really not a lot of relationships in the MCU currently. Like, this has been very apparent in phase 4 and 5, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't think every superhero movie needs to have a romantic love interest, but at the moment, Spider-Man's really the only main romantic love interest we have. And it's refreshing to have kind of like a fun little, not really a love story, because it's not. Like, they don't end the movie together, but they kind of plant the seeds.
Yeah, they plant the seeds for where they grow.
Their little back and forth is nice. And it's nice. It's not like a true love story. Like, Disney has kind of trained our brains to be like, oh, they are happily ever after, and they end the movie together and all that kind of stuff. Well, they don't. They don't. They have their issues. They're working it out. They're, trying to figure out what it is and who they are. Like, I thought it was I really liked the scene when like they're about to kiss and like she's kind of freaking out a little bit, like, okay, like I have a public image, what are people going to say? People know who you are. And there's that little freak out scene, and like, yeah, that's a very real scene. Like, people are going to talk, people are going to say, and that's a real anxiety she would be having. What controversy? I don't know if it's necessarily a controversy. I think people just dislike. She's the actress that sold her bathwater, right? Or sold her, it was with bathwater. I
think
something
along the lines of that,
yeah. So
I'd buy it.
You wouldn't.
So would 3 Dubs.
Moving on. But no, yeah, it's just it's just weirdness with the actress and stuff like that. But no, yeah, I definitely enjoyed her in the movie. I also forgot Coulson was in this movie. Like, I remembered Iron Man 2, I remembered Thor, and I was just like,
I forgot already.
I was like, oh yeah, Coulson is here. Huh, he was there at the very start.
Yep.
Obviously went off to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and one of my I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., man. It's I want them to bring Coulson back somehow, just like bring him into the fold of everything somehow, but I don't know. We'll see kind of how it goes.
Make LMP.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a more basic movie. Like, as I go through these, I'll probably have more to say about some of the upcoming MCU movies. Do you have anything that we haven't really touched on yet that you would like to talk about in terms of like the movie in just like in general?
Just how you can tell that Tony is still like, this is the beginning of us seeing Tony deal with his inner demons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his alcoholism is not that bad yet, but you can tell it's getting there. And I loved how they portrayed that. I loved how how Robert Downey Jr. acted that out. And bro, it's just like, I don't have too many bad things to say about this film. The only reason why I gave it an 8.5 is because, me personally, I don't like the fact that he outed himself at the beginning of the first movie. I feel like that could have waited till the second. But that's just me. That's just me being nitpicky. I've always felt like that.
Sure. I feel like, I guess I never really thought about that. I guess I guess the MCU never really dealt with secret identities much outside of the Spider-Man and stuff like that. I mean, I will just say, we have to touch on it at least. The ending scene is probably, if not, I'd say it's the most iconic moment in the whole MCU.
Yep.
Like, I am Iron Man is such a great scene. Like, he wants the credit for what he has built. That's his flaw, is that like how good he can be. He wants to be the center of it. He wants the attention. He wants to like notoriety for what he's done. And it's I don't know. I personally love that scene in terms of just like what it did. I find it really funny that that's how the MCU started, and that's how the DC EU ended, with Aquaman being like, I am Aquaman. That's so silly. Here's a question. Was it dumb for not telling the Avengers Coulson being alive?
Iron Man happened before Avengers.
Yes. I guess they're just asking, like, in general, like, why didn't no one tell him they were alive? I mean, maybe they did. Like, maybe they did it off screen.
Also, got to remember that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is technically still a different timeline.
Yeah, it's tough.
So Coulson is technically still dead. It's just a different timeline.
It's tough.
It's in the multiverse. It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Cloak and Dagger. All of that was the beginning of the multiverse.
Listen, we can debate that all day. We could say if it is canon, if it's not. I like to think it's canon. I like to think, have you finished the show or no? Have you seen it or no? Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry. My daycare provider texted me.
Did I freeze?
But have I seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Yes, you're gonna hate me though. They lost me when they started trying to go into space.
Oh, that's when it gets good.
They lost me. It was the Fitz and Simmons episode. It lost me. Everything up until then was cool.
I will say they end Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with them returning to a certain timeline. So it's a big theory that, like, they returned to the mainstream MCU at that point. But it's like, I'm at a stage right now where I'm not going to think about it too much until they say it. Like, if Kevin Feige comes out and be like, it is canon, I'll be like, okay, good. But it's said and done. But I mean, we're at a point at this point where Secret Wars is coming. After that point, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter what's canon or not, because it's kind of like it's a bit of a reset. I feel like
I have a secret war that I'm I'm fighting right now.
Oh gosh.
Between me and Taj.
Yeah.
Love
to see it.
Yep. But me and Taj are gonna throw hands.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of all I have for Iron Man 2008. Great movie. I don't think it I feel like Iron Man often gets put as like a lot of people's number one MCU movie. It's a lot of people's favorite MCU movies, and then people's top 5. I'll say I think it's really, really good. I do think there's better. Like, I do think MCU later, it's a great standard. It's a great start. It's a great, I guess, like, forming point for like the rest of the MCU to build on top of. But I don't know if, I don't know. I'll be curious as I rewatch these if it's continues to be one of my favorites, or if some rise, some fall. I'll be very curious. Uh-oh, I guess you're on a
I
loop.
hope they don't rise. I hope they don't fall. I don't know.
Taj loves Agents of Shield. He loves it. Well, I love to hear that, Taj. We'll have to talk about it at some point. But yeah, I think with that being said, I think we're going to be wrapping up the stream here.
Really,
Lance,
it's over.
I know.
Already?
I know it. I mean,
No,
is there
it's
anything
been
else that you want to talk about?
I mean, not really. We're gonna say the rest for tomorrow, but it's just been good to finally be back on the pipeline. Man.
Yeah, have to have you back again at some point. Absolutely. Yeah,
hey,
but I mean,
with my schedule, we got to plan months in advance.
February. But Lance, obviously, we've talked about it throughout the stream. But where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Just type in Lance Geek Drums. You'll find me there. Yeah. You can always I do more than you can always go like my drumming videos as well. That's how I pay the bills outside of this truck driving crap. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can go check out Party Nation every Tuesday at
every
6:30.
Tuesday.
Or 6:30 here, I guess.
6:30 his time.
Yeah.
5:30 my time. Yeah.
You can find. I'm sometimes over there. Lance is obviously it's your show. Taj is there. 3 Dubs is there. We have a good golly of people over there. Final question before we wrap up, as we want to answer everyone's question. I'm rewatching The Flash. What happened with Candace on season 7 and 8? She just wanted a break, right?
She wanted a break because of COVID, and with COVID, they did not allow you. They did not allow them. Well, at least the CW didn't allow the actors on any shows to go home because of risk of exposure. She took it upon herself to break those rules, which she, has every right to, because you're kept from your families. They couldn't even go home for the holidays. So yeah, they did that. Then they had to write in that stupid storyline to explain her absence. That's all it is. She wanted a break. Nobody wants to stay in Vancouver, Canada for that long away from her family. She likes being able to come and go as she pleased. And, all the actors did. They never want to, especially in Vancouver, like it'd be freaking cold all in May. So,
yeah. And that was such an unfortunate time too. Cause Carlos kind of left the show. Tom had kind of left the show. Ralph had left the show. Candace wanted a break.
Ralph was forcibly removed from the show. Yeah. Let's be honest.
So they were left with Cecile and Allegra and Chester, and they're like, well, fuck. No one gives a shit.
Exactly.
But yeah, no. Again, Pipeline will be back on its regular scheduled next Thursday. I think we're going to be doing a Ben 10 themed episode next Thursday, so stay tuned for that. And check out Darren After the Credits this Saturday. Me and Darth will be talking about the Penguin and Agatha. Without further ado, I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.